Hey guys, KCTCG here. Today I'm with Sebs,
What's up, guys?
and today we'll actually be covering how to win. And before any of you get excited, this is not a flowchart of how to win all your games. This is
No,
actually what to do when you win, kind of like the how to
yeah,
lose episode.
little mentality check for you guys because I don't know how many of you win. I mean, I would hope a lot of you win once you guys start listening, but we can only get you so far.
And also, some of you take winning way too far. You guys throw a mini party each time you guys sack your opponent out.
Yeah,
So first and foremost, like everybody feels great when they win, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's just when you win, right? But
that yeah,
some people they take it way too far. You shouldn't, jump up and down, scream like a little girl that you just got, your crush of your life asking you out on a date. Like first and foremost, when you win the game or if you win the game, right? The winner should be the one extending his hand, his or her hand. Like it's not a loser should be doing everything. It's the winners that should be doing it. Now,
yeah,
if the loser is the sore loser, then we can't help you there. But you did your best. Now, there are some things that are appropriate to do when you're winning, like just smile to yourself, you did it, uh, or look over your what happened and say like, oh, did I win it because of my own skill or did I actually RNG and top like the world?
yeah. Because I mean, there's been plenty of times where in some card games you just kind of win and it just kind of happens. And even with those, like you being the winner, being able to extend your hand to your opponent and just show like not gratitude, but just like that kind of like competitiveness where you're being
Camaraderie.
a good sport about it. All right, hey, good game. That's one thing for sure. Like I mean, I've won games and had my losing opponent, even with me like going to shake their hand or give a fist bump or whatever. Some people just take it bad, or they might think that you're winning too hard, like how Ken mentioned earlier. Sometimes some people get too excited over a win, and I mean, if it's a hard match, even then you got to stay composed and you know
Yeah, and that's
be
another
cool
thing
about it.
too, right? Like a lot of people whenever they get the dub, they give themselves a little fist bump, they say, "Yeah, I did it." Um, but sometimes just these small little notions can just be taken too far, and they, jump out of their seat, shout at the top of their lungs, maybe a little bit of profanity sprinkled in, like, "Yeah, I did it," but it's still a whole thing of, bro, calm down. Like, I get it, you won. I get it. Maybe it was for like a finals, right? But regardless, it's still a game. And one thing that you should never ever do is preemptively offer your handshake. Always make sure that, dubs are confirmed, losses are confirmed, and then you offer your handshake, right? It's not even good sportsman when, for example, in Vanguard, you're attacking for 6 damage, you know your opponent can't take it, and you offer your handshake when they say no guard. Like, bro.
Yeah, yeah, like that's kind of weird. Or even like, I mean, if you've already won the game, like just win the game, dude. You don't have
Yeah.
to. You don't have to prolong it. You don't have to like, be extra flashy or don't do the don't do the anime thing and be like final turn. Like I get it, bro. You won. Just go. Like go through the process. Like
There's a lot
maybe
of
that's
times
me.
where I mean, I'm with you there, dude. Like, it's really cringy when people go super flashy for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like when honestly, it's the same thing as if you walked out in the street wearing super gaudy clothes, everything's like gold, silver, shiny as F, and you walk out and you look like the crab from Moana.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, no one likes seeing that. You're gaudy as F, dude. Don't do it. It's so cringe. And take it from people and once again, I know we've said this, maybe we sound like assholes, but we've always said if we lose. Well, it's the opposite for me and Sebs. It's when we win, we're not asshats. We're very calm, collective. We'll offer handshakes to our opponent, and we'll talk about it if we want to. But we're there for for our players. We're not gonna be like, oh, haha, get out of here, scrub.
Yeah.
Like,
No. It's just like really weird. Like, especially, I mean, if you're gonna compete, there are just like normal rules to competing with any sports, any card games, anything.
hmm
You have to be civil about it. You want to just be like, okay, I won. Thank you for playing. Congrats, whatever. Or even like, hey, good luck with the rest of your games. Like that's something that a lot of people don't do. I do it sometimes. Even with like my other games when I lose, even if I lose hard, like sometimes I'll be upset, but like try and be like, hey, bro, like all right, good luck, whatever.
yeah.
And when winning, it should technically be the same. Because you're all, if you want to be competitors and you want to do better or do like these competitions, winning is going to be part of it. And sometimes you can have a bad image off of winning and just not being respectful.
hmm And another thing is like I get it in locals versus competitive and tournaments. In locals, you can't really walk away from everybody else like you do in a big tournament. In locals, you're stuck in the same building, same room with the 20 plus other people that are there, maybe, or maybe less, maybe more. And you either have to avoid them the entire night, which makes things really awkward, or you have to stomach it and talk to them, which means if you played the game with them and you ended up winning or losing, right? And one of you was a complete asshat about winning or even losing at this point, how do you think it feels when you're talking to that person now? Like you're all together, everyone else is friends with each other. You and that person have animosity because one of you was a sore winner or loser.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's just kind of like awkward. You A, avoid everybody, including your own friends, or B, do you make an awkward ass conversation talking to the person that you don't want to talk to?
Yeah.
And it's just things like this, and people need to understand that when you win, right? You also have to understand how you won. If you won because the game was in your control the entire time, everything was to your, I want to say, image of victory. Like this is how I'm gonna win. Like, sure, right? Like you planned it out. Congratulations, dude. You nothing was at fault. Everything went your way. But if you win because you complete RNG, you complete luck, someone was to complete lucky, or your opponent just completely threw the game unintentionally or intentionally, who cares? Understand that when this happens, this win should be taken somewhat lightly. Like, win, sure, but did you deserve it? Ask yourself. Probably not. Maybe.
I mean, hey man, if you work hard for the win, you work hard for the win.
Yeah,
Obviously,
but
we
if you
know that there
RNG
are
your way
times.
out of it, then
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we know that there's times where RNG is a thing, and I mean, hey, you know, if you just so happen to your opponent, right? They almost almost completely destroy you, and then you just top deck the one card that you need to win, and you win off that. I mean, hey, I mean, you got lucky, cool, whatever. If you do something bad, it would have been bad, but you got it. And it's up to you as the player to be able to recognize that, and then also go back into the match and see at what point you might have messed up to be in that situation. Because if you would have top decked the wrong card, you would have lost. So if you know that, okay, hey, at 2 turns before, maybe I overextended with whatever play I did, or maybe on that last one, oh, I could have built up more resources just to be able to play out his turn and then still have something after. Those are things that when you win, you people don't really think about that.
I
That's
mean,
that's
here's
something
another
that
thing too, right?
yeah.
Like, even when you win or don't think about it, let's not even bring this into card games. Bring it into the world of competitiveness or
Mm,
competition. Just, I know,
competition, yeah.
like in Smash and Street Fighter, whenever people are playing in big tournaments, like these players, whenever they win or lose, right? They literally sit there and the players are talking about it. Like, win or lose, yeah, man, good game, yeah, and they stay there like, and you can see it on the stage like whenever people are on camera,
Yeah.
some players say, nah, I'm out of here. Like, I didn't like this loss. I'm out of here. And some players, they sit, they talk, and they fist bump, handshake, whatnot, right? And all of this is the proper image of what you want to aim for.
Yeah.
Of, hey, my opponent was a cool guy. Of course, in the game, I mean, I'm no friendship is not on the table right now. I'm just gonna try to win. But the moment victory is on the screen, doesn't matter if it's yours or his or theirs, hers, whatever pronoun you want. It's yo, you won, congratulations, and you go back to being friends.
Yeah.
Like that's what you really want when you're trying to win a game or playing anything, right?
Yeah.
Is sure, in the game, you can talk trash to each other, not give a damn about each other. But the moment the game is over, y'all can go back to being friends. And a lot of this can be broken the moment someone's a sore loser or sore winner. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I tend to think a lot of the time in competition, there's like a real side of you that really shows, you know?
oh yeah.
I get that you work hard and you want to win as a competitor, I mean, that's kind of what you strive for. You want that feeling that, sorry, that that winning feeling, everybody enjoys that when you win, but you don't want to lose, like, I mean, face value, and you also don't want people to look at you like, kind of in the wrong.
Yeah.
And it's gonna, it'll affect a lot more than you would really think. Some people, I'll just give this example, like from skateboarding, right?
Mhm.
There is a local guy in my area, amazing, amazingly talented skateboarder, like pro level, but he can win a lot of stuff, but his attitude is just garbage. And like, dude, nobody likes him because of the way that he acts, either when he wins or when he does something that, is like his own thing. It's cool, whatever. But like winning and all that shit, it's not all it's cracked up to be when you can't, like, and there's nobody around you to really celebrate with, if you don't have your friends or even other people who kind of look up to you to be like, damn, like that guy wins and he's like cool about it, and he can, maybe he can help me out, or maybe like I can learn something from him through his wins, like that's something that a lot of people don't really take into consideration, maybe because it's like, yeah, it's a card game, it's small, but still, you still want to you still want to be the better person and the better winner at the end of the day.
Yeah. And it's just a big understanding that people need to have is that when you're playing and when you have your social image out there, right? You are perceived by a lot of players like, oh, this is a cool cat, and a lot of players will talk amongst themselves out of your own circle, out of your shot, and talk about you. You may not think about it, but they actually do. Now, if you have
Yeah.
no impact on the community, then oh well, right? Like you are a person that just takes losses, takes dubs, walks away, oh, after GG bye, and you don't really talk, then sure, right? Maybe a smaller footprint than others. But
Yeah.
once you put yourself out there as, let's say, the sore loser, right, or the sore winner, you start becoming known as this jerk that no one wants to play, and unfortunately, I got paired up with you. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want that mentality around you because it ruins a lot of things. The game, your social life with other people, your social experience with other people.
Oh yeah, that's probably the biggest one,
And another thing is, once again, it damages the community because now
Yeah.
that your play group, your community is now known to have a complete jerk off, and they don't even know it's you, or you don't even know it's you, and you hear about it.
Yeah.
Like, you need to understand that when that happens, you need to make up for it. And if you want to leave your play group and go to someone else, if word spreads, and trust me, word does spread, that you're that jerk off, no one's gonna want you in their community. No one wants to play with you.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that work with me that, are in my play group. They're brilliant people, but sometimes they just don't know how to take a win or take a loss. And when that happens, it's very frustrating. And yeah, I want to tell them off, but it's not my place for one. And sometimes it's really hard to do this to someone because more than likely they're in that state of mind from being a sore loser or sore winner because something happened that day, and you don't want to add on to it saying, hey, I thought you were my friend, but why are you talking to me like this? Like, I'm not a sore winner, you know this, but bro, you were, I saw you. And it's hard to do this sometimes to your friends.
Yeah.
But let's be real, right? If you gotta do it, you gotta do it.
Yep.
And sometimes, right, you may think, oh, these are my friends. They shouldn't need to they shouldn't need to be worried that I'm a sore loser or sore winner. They are there because they're my friends, so they're stuck with me. I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Bridges can be burnt very quickly, and you may not understand how quickly, but it does.
Hmm. People talk, man. People, whether you like it or not, people are always gonna say something, and the way that you handle your wins and your losses should really be the same because that's gonna be telling a lot about you as a person.
Hmm.
And again, you take a lot of losses to get wins. So when you win, we understand that like you want to be excited and you want to be happy and cool, You'll have your moment, you get your win, you get your dub. But again, don't try not to discourage other players when you win, make them feel bad because you don't know when you start winning and maybe you're popping off and you're like, "Oh man, like and that match was easy. That person, easy. Like whatever, You might not see that that could put other players down, and
Yeah,
that
and
can
that
really damage
comes
the
from
community.
the mentality of just when you think you won, like I said, realize how you won. Like, was your opponent better than you and you managed to outplay them? Were they worse than you and you managed to just play better than them? And it's just a lot of things need to be accounted for. Like, if, for me, right, for example, let's take me for example. I'll play against anybody, but if the game is too one-sided, I'm not super happy I'm gonna win. Like, and then when I win, I try to be very humble because I understand that hey, the person sitting across from me doesn't understand as much as I do. They don't play as much as I do, or they just barely got into the game. So I'm gonna be very humble. I'm gonna sit down and talk. I will play my best, but I will not rub it in their face like, hey, you suck, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there after the win. I'll talk. I'm gonna seem like a normal guy. I'm not gonna, put my fist, dance around the building, run laps around the table because hey, I won. No, that's unsightly. That is so ridiculous. I'm gonna be a mature adult about it, and I'll celebrate my win with my opponent. Actually, I'll be like, hey, yeah, I won, cool. Uh, is there something you want to ask or talk about, or maybe you have a question about the game? Like, I'm gonna go over. I'm not gonna try to, just win and walk away.
Yeah.
Like, this may be different in sometimes in big regional tournaments. For me, for example, right, coming from a background of Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Vanguard, Digimon, whenever I win a tournament or a round in a tournament, right, I tend to, after I talk to my opponent, I wait for everyone to move, and if my opponent's still talking to me when this happens, I'll keep talking. But if they want to be quiet, I'll be quiet too. I'm not gonna worry, and then I'm gonna just walk up, go to my group of friends, and just chill and talk. But I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, screw you for being, negative about it. I'm gonna walk to my friends and say how easy a game you were. Like, I'll just walk to my friends and be like, yo, I did it, guys, I won. What'd you play against? Yo, I played against this. All right, cool. And then, like, sometimes, and this will happen to almost everybody, I guarantee it. Sometimes it'll be like easy matchup, easy game. Like
Mm.
people will say that. And
Yeah.
sometimes you need to understand the context, like easy matchup, easy game. What if it was, someone we all know, and we just know that the game itself, like after they come over, we just talk about it and have fun with it. But if it is an actual kid or it is someone that is less skilled than you or less, I guess, well off because they don't have the cards needed, then don't be an asshat. Don't say like, oh yeah, easy game because he didn't have this. I'm like, bro, that is so cringe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like again too, we all know that, you know, certain times when you win, it's it's gonna come out, whatever, especially like I said, when you're hanging out with your friends and you're having a good time, whatever. But again too, just be cautious about how you approach it because winning, I mean, yeah, again, everybody likes to win, everybody wants to win. So sometimes winning put people down and you might not even notice it.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
So another point we're gonna try to make here is that, just like last week's commercial episode and the week before that, we talked about losing. We talked about community. Winning is just part of this triage of the game of or the life of a game. You have people that win and the people that lose. Those are yin and yang. They correlate with each other. They're opposite of each other, but they go hand in hand. But you also have community, which is at the center of it all, because community is how these people get together, and it is filled with winners and losers each time. And you all can't be winners because someone has to eventually lose in the game, right?
Yep.
But all of this, being a good winner, being a good loser, this all helps build, like, a few, I think it was last week's episode, it all helps build your community, which is very essential. And if you want to be a sore loser, sore winner, it ruins all of it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
unfortunately, like, now that we're, I guess, this many episodes deep, I want to say this is what, 10 or 8 or 9?
Uh, Somewhere like that. Yeah. Somewhere around
you
there.
you start hearing us overlap into, oh, that you said this last week. Yeah, I said it last week because that's how important it is, or that's how
Mm.
relevant this topic is to what we just said. There's so many things that are going on, so many things that are happening, the interactions that you don't think about it, but when you do think about it, oh my God, you're right. It is actually interlinked, intertwined. Like a good winner and a good loser will help build a community versus a poor winner or a poor loser or sore loser or sore winner. They help destroy communities because no one wants to play with you. Now,
Yeah.
it's a different story, right? With you're talking to your friend and both of you understand each other, both of you are just uh, enjoying bad mouthing each other and keeping it only to each other, right? So it goes from beginning to end, winning to lose. And then when someone asks you about it, like, "Yo, hey, can you like calm down? Like, you were kind of rude to that guy." No, 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 no. And then make sure this other person can also back you up before you say this. But like, yeah, we're friends. We were doing this on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's a big thing. I mean, again, too, like with your friends, it's cool. You joke around. You know, you you talk your shit. We all talk shit. We're all friends. But if this is a person that you don't know, I mean, hey, you don't even know how this person could react. So you could even get up and like, not like just ignore them and just whatever. But you never know how somebody would take that.
And then this also goes to your friends too, because let's say that your friend is starting off, joking with you, and then he's sort of calms down, and but you keep continuing.
Yeah.
At this point, honestly, it is actually read the room because everyone stopped but you.
Yeah, that could be a thing too.
You can make someone feel incredibly awkward just because you want to be a complete d bag and continue about it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they're your friend, right? If they don't want to continue this banter, you should stop.
Yeah, yeah. Reading the room is a big thing in that for sure.
Like, I'm pretty sure this happens a lot in the competitive scene where friends can make or break uh, just in one round of a game. And it's not even just when you guys are playing against each other or even watching someone play. Like, we all have sports fans here, they're everywhere, you can't escape them, it's like a virus. But when one team wins, the fans get hyped over the win. And it's the same thing about winning right there at that point because you think that the sports team represents you as a person. So you say, "Oh, my team won." Well, sure, the team won, not your team. But
Mm.
whenever that happens, people start getting salty about it, or they just go off and go crazy about it. Well, bro, it's just like card games.
Pretty much.
Calm down, bro.
Yeah, yeah. And I like the again the overall point, especially when it comes to winning. I've always felt like winning or losing, either way, it's a learning experience. The way that you portray yourself when you win or lose will say a lot about you. It will affect your friendships. It'll affect meeting strangers, and it can again, it'll affect your community. And like these are all things that we all, again, like how Ken mentioned earlier, we cover back on them because they are that important. If you want to get better, a lot of it will be through like organically with like your friends and playing and learning. But just going into competitions and seeing other people, even like how we mentioned a couple weeks ago, of going to different locals. You win that local, cool, hey, good game, whatever, you know and that's it. That's all it kind of has to be at that point. You don't need to make it, all celebration and jump around on the table, and
Yeah,
that's not anything that needs to happen. But yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of it.
and it's just all of this. Whenever y'all watch this, right? Think about it to yourself. Do you think that when you win or when you lose, but just for the concept of today's episode, when you win, do you do these things? Do you celebrate loudly or say, "Ha ha ha, ha, like I did it, ha, I'm such a better player"? Or do you be like, "Oh hey, good game. Hey question, like is there something you saw different in the game and if your opponent was willing to talk to you, then sure, right, you guys can hash it out." But if you and your opponent are just talking, you're playing, and like game after game, y'all are very happy with each other. Both sides win without much celebration, and y'all are just being very mature adults about the winning. You can like if this is how you guys are, then cool, right? Like spread that knowledge to other people. But um, if you are more negative about everything, if you are more outbursty, then at that point, yeah, look at it yourself. Try not to uh, try changing how you view yourself in the game, and try to start adjusting yourself. Don't just uh, don't just be a negative person the entire time and try to spread the negativity. Try to actually make it so that both of you are positive, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that sometimes it does sound like it's the same thing over and over and over again, but in reality, that is what it is. You need to understand that, hey, uh, winning or losing is very simple. Just don't overexert it. It's a game. Take it with a grain of salt, but also take your achievements, so to speak, with stride. be happy with them and celebrate your friends' achievements, not just yours. Because hey, if you celebrate someone's achievements, they're more than willing to celebrate yours. But if you don't celebrate theirs and expect them to celebrate yours, that's just hypocritical right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a again, like how I mentioned earlier, celebrating with I would much rather celebrate with like my friends, like just cool and collected, and celebrate by myself, being just loud and what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, is like braggadocious, like something like that? You're just
Yeah,
being and just so extra, you know. Rather just like take my win and like, all right, cool, good game, here you go, and like just move on to the next one. And the more the more wins you get, I mean, hey, the better looks on you, and the more wins you get, and you're cool about it, even better. Nobody's gonna look at you and be like, "Damn, I feel bad for losing to this guy because he just did a whole fucking lap around the venue, and he's like hyped that he won." It's like, okay, dude, like, hey, take a chill pill. Here you go. Congrats.
right. And a lot of people are not gonna want to admit this either. But sadly, that is going to be life. That is going to be the game. And people need to understand that, hey, I should probably not be what Ken and Sebs are talking about right now. I should probably be a better version of it and grow and pretty much grow up pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, I hope some of you or most of you will take a lot away from this. As we get more and more into topics, we unfortunately will pretty much be overlapping a lot of what we said before, which once again emphasizes how important everything is, how everything is linked together. But at the same time, understand that hey, whenever you're playing or whenever you're with friends competing, it's all a game. It's all having fun.
True.
Like, and even take it in, I guess, League, right? Like, or just any online game where you can play with friends or strangers, right? Whenever you're winning or losing, if and this is a very common term for I guess internet games, when you get tilted, or just even real life when you're tilted, that's a sign that hey, you should probably calm down. You know, don't play for a little bit, back off a bit, and reevaluate your situation. Because if you're gonna get tilted off a game, then what's that say about you?
Yeah.
And the funny part is, right, you can be tilted when you're winning.
Again, too, it's like one of those things where I've had games where I've barely, barely won them, like top decking won them, or like barely had one or two cards left that I could just use to win that game, or even like in Smash, you know? I mean, hey, if you get it, you get it. You can be mad at yourself after, but you got to be cool about the win. Hey, good game, whatever, and then just go about your day.
Hmm.
And then if you want, again, if you want to beat yourself up after, hey, that's on you. It happens. And it's a learning experience. Again, it's all stuff that you're going to learn about. It's all stuff that you're going to pay attention to be like, okay, I shouldn't have done this. I should have done that. This could have gone this way. That could have gone that way. But at least you're focused after you're winning and you're not letting it get to your head.
Yeah, that is very well put.
Yeah.
And I guess just to round things off here, just when you're winning, be happy. You got a dub. Do not try to put your opponent down because, happiness should be shared, not taken away. And if you are a good winner, right, and you already see it yourself, a lot of people around you are always happy when they're playing with you, but you play against a sore loser, don't force yourself on them because more than likely they're going to take it more negatively. But if they present the opportunity to open up and be and think about like, hey, they want to talk to you, jump on it and try to change them. But I think that should be it, right, Sebs?
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything when it comes to that because, I mean, there's not really too much else we can cover about winning. Especially, I mean, hey, winning is winning. If you ain't first, you're last. Just kidding, just kidding. But
Dang.
if you take your win, dude, I mean, just take your win. You know, you don't gotta be crazy extra. You don't gotta be none of that. You know, we've already covered this point a ton of times. So if you guys didn't get it by now, I don't know what else to tell you.
Realistically, yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
once again, guys, we appreciate all your support every single time you all talk to us about the episodes or, comments on all the episodes below. We appreciate it. It keeps us going. Now,
yeah, definitely.
I know it's like we said before, everything's going to start to overlap, but I know we covered how to prepare for tournaments. We never actually talked about how to be a competitive player, the differences between competitive and casual. So next week, those that do want to aim for competitive or want to understand where you are in this spectrum of competitive versus casual, stay tuned for next week's episode where we talk about what is the difference between a competitive and a casual player, and also how to compete at that point.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll be definitely getting that.
All right, guys. KCTCG and Seb signing off.
See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.